me tell you a little bit about today's show. We've got a company, a young guy, Adam Blouin, owner of Fresh Landscapes, coming in, and he's sitting in the studio for the entire hour, and I want to kind of tell you my story with Adam. My wife and I own a home off of 88th and Burleigh. I've been there a long time, and we live right on the corner, and I live across the street from a park. On the north side of the house, that's the door that we go in all the time. Probably 8 feet on either side of the walkway. I have not been able to get grass to grow there. It doesn't get much sun, and people walk that way all day long going to the park across the street from our house. And it drives my wife nuts. I mean, it's just dirt, and I've tried to put seed there, nothing. I've tried to put sod, nothing. I've tried the stuff that I know, the easy stuff, and nothing worked. And this year she said, Michael, I'm done with this. People walk by, and she thinks they talk about us behind our back all the time. Like, wow, does that look rotten?
So you don't have a green thumb then?
Horrible. Yeah, horrible thumb. And what I did is I called a couple of the big boys, a couple of the big landscape guys, and told them what I was looking for. Again, it's 8 feet on either side. They kind of laughed and said, look, it really kind of too small of a job for us. So I called another guy who claimed he was a landscaper, and really good guy, but he's more of a guy who will come cut your grass and trim the bushes type. And he gave me some ideas, but I did not feel confident at all. So I thought, well, here I am on my own again. And somebody gave me Adam's name. And he said, just give this young guy a try. Just give him a shot. And so I called Fresh Landscapes, and Adam Blouin came over. And when he walked in, I thought, man, he should still be in school. And about 5 minutes into the conversation, I realized that I never thought about his age again because he was very passionate about what he was talking about and had a great idea. And I said to him, what sets you apart from some of the other companies, some of the other young guys that might want to start these companies? And he said, I've got a landscape architect on staff. He said, he's an older guy, probably more like my age. And he said, that's what sets me apart. He's a different skill set than I have and different eyes. And he sees things a little bit different. And I think we make a really good team. So I had him and his landscape architect come over, and they sat at the kitchen table after walking around my house. And I thought, well, they're going to come in and say, really, this job's kind of small for us. But they didn't. And they had kind of a design on what they wanted to do with it. And I was excited about it. And I said, good, let's go ahead and do it. They were within, I gave them what the budget was. The Tuesday, they said it'd probably take us 2 days, and they gave me a day when they were going to come, and the second day. Well, the Tuesday after Memorial Day, Adam and his crew showed up and got it done in 1 day, and they were $150 under budget, which my wife loved. I loved. And when I drove up to the house, I'm telling you, Adam, I didn't know it. It was kind of like, this is cool. This is really cool. In fact, Kevin, he called me about 1 o'clock that day. He said, hey, Mr. McGivern, do you mind if we do a little bit extra? I said, what do you got in mind? He said, you got a spot in the backyard between the houses where it's perfect sun that if we could just take a little of the grass and make a vegetable garden for you, it would really, really do well there. And I said, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Well, I showed up from work about 5:15. They were still there. And he had a guy cutting down just trimming part of the tree. And we didn't talk about that either. And I said, Adam, we didn't talk about it. He said, no, I just called our guy out here because the rose bush there isn't getting enough sun. It needs to get more sun, so we're going to trim a few branches to make sure that part gets done. So when they were done, they cleaned up everything. You had no idea. They took the sod, some of the sod that they had to take from the vegetable garden, and put it off into an area that I was still struggling to grow, and said, you got to water that as much as you can. So what they did is they used a lot of the stuff that they took out into different parts, and they cleaned everything up, and it was a phenomenal experience. So when they asked me to sit in for Tim, I thought, man, what a great young guy that I could come and talk a little bit about my experiences. You might want to grab the mic a little bit closer, Adam. Adam, so thanks a lot for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell us a little bit about your background. I know that at the young, tender age of 24, you've been in this business about 10 years. Started cutting grass at 14, and found a love for this, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Just cutting grass for people on my block.
Sure.
And then Yeah, I just like being outdoors, and that's really what it comes down to.
I think, and Kevin, I think you'd agree with this. I think guys in his business, if they have a true passion for it and a true love for it and a good keen eye and don't mind working hard, they can be pretty successful.
They can be very successful, and that's the key to everything. It's like, hey, if you really enjoy your work, you're going to excel greatly in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really like what I do, and I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, when you talk to people, they can sense your passion just like you did, and it's just like you can feel it. You can read people like that. And it's like you can tell if somebody's really into their job or they're not.
Here's what I know. When Mama Bear's happy, everybody's happy. She's really happy. You know what? People walk by. Now, you know what? We've got the window open, and we can see them stop and take a look at the work that's been done, and they'll smile to us. And people have come up. I want to get you a lot of business, so I don't take full credit for it, you know, because they know I've tried everything. So every neighbor that I have knows I didn't do that work. But, you know, one guy said, yeah, I took a day off and did it. He's like, no, you didn't. I said, yeah, I did. No, you didn't. Who'd you have do it? And I said, I'll give you Fresh Landscapes. If you want more information on Adam, freshlandscapes.net, or you can give him a call at 758-4384. If you've got any questions that you have, you want to call in the show, call us at 414-799-1250. That's 799-1250. Adam, the size of the job wasn't too small for you, and that's what I liked.
Yeah, and I actually like doing small jobs like that. You know, they're fun for me. 'Cause I think you can do a little bit more with them.
Yeah, and so to come out and do a day, take a day, and then move to the next job the next day is something that you guys at Fresh Landscapes don't mind doing.
No, I actually like doing jobs like that. If I could do a $500, $600, $700 job every day, I'd be happy with that.
You know, that was the part that kind of threw me, is that you know what, you didn't. Obviously, the job that we had was a small job, and dollar wise, when you came in under budget, that made. You know, I didn't tell my wife that. So I tried to pocket that extra $1.50. And she's listening
like that one commercial.
So literally, the second that I walk in, she's going to be like, hey, what'd you do with that money that we put aside?
You got a hawk, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely, there's no doubt. Tell me, the idea of having a landscape architect on staff, and this is a guy who's been in the business. I talked to him when he was in my kitchen. He's been in the business 35 years. Yeah. So he's really well versed into what he sees. You guys make a nice team.
Yeah, I mean, I do design work, but basically he's the architect. He does most of it, and I just throw in my 2 cents. And like you said, he's experienced, so it's nice having a more experienced person on my crew.
You know what was cool? The day that I came home from work, he showed up a couple minutes later, and I know that your crew did the manual work, and then he walked around and he kind of pulled you aside and said, "Wait a second, I thought we were going to try to do it this way." And there's just one small area that you guys kind of switched up a little bit, and so he comes out after design, and you guys do the work, and then he walks and says, "Okay, this is what I was thinking. That's exactly what we thought." You guys need to communicate pretty well.
Yeah, we do. And you know, when he does come out a little bit later, a lot of that stuff's in field too. Like, you'll have a design, but once it starts getting, you know, you start doing it, you can actually tweak things like that. And I think he's pretty good at that too.
Yeah,
and it's always for the better. You know?
Well, his the way that our house at this point looks is just different. It's a nice feel. When the side window is open, we can smell the flowers that you guys put in.
Yeah.
I've never watered as much as I've been watering because I don't want any of that stuff to die. I have no. If one tomato comes up, that's going to be one more tomato that I've ever grown in my entire life. So when you said you wanted to put a vegetable garden in, that was pretty cool for me. Hey, let's get to a break because we've got the lines are lighting up. Again, if you want to talk to Adam Blouin with this company, Fresh Landscapes, is a company that I would call if you're looking for a big project, a small project. I know one of their terms is they'll do a $500 project and they'll go all the way up to $500,000 if people want it, right, Adam?
I mean, if people want that, I'll take it.
There you go.
I'll take the
You'd
work.
probably go $1 million if
need be. 500,
5 million, yeah.
500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever you guys got. But I can tell you by experience that this company came out and did a great job. We're going to get to a break. If you have a question for Adam, give us a call at 799-1250. That's 414-799-1250.
Sports Radio 1250 WSSP's Home Improvement Show takes your calls now at 414-799-1250, making your life easier and saving you money.
Welcome back to the Home Improvement Show on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. I'm Mike McGivern, WSSP High School Insider, sitting in with Kevin Maynard from Open Hearth. Never knew Kevin knew this much about landscaping. Really happy you're here, by the way. I know that I was told you were taking the week off, so I'm glad to have you here. We're joined by Adam Blouin, who is the owner of Fresh Landscapes Boutique, or Fresh Landscapes, whatever. But you can go to his website at freshlandscapes.net to see his work. And again, personally had just a phenomenal experience with Adam, his staff, his landscape architect, he was a good guy. He seemed a little crazy, but I think those architects are always a little crazy, right? Yeah, he seemed a little nuts, but he did okay. Let's get to our call. Marianne from Fox Point has a question. Marianne, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Do you have a question for Adam?
I do. I have a slab patio in the back of my house. I have about a half an acre, and I'm looking to take that out. It's been there for 15 years. We just moved into the house, and I'm wondering if you do stonework. I would like to make it feel rustic back there, and I want to entertain the kids, and I would just like to put a fire pit in and kind of tie it all in together. I have the landscape, just don't have the patio I want.
All right, well, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I like to use a lot of cobblestone in my whenever I am using brick, and I actually have a really cool place where I can get it for cheap down on the east side by me. It's I don't know if you're familiar with the east side, but it's right by the Urban Ecology Center. It's the old Godfrey property, and they just have piles and piles of really unique stone, brick, woods, all kinds of cool stuff. And that's what I would do. I would take out that concrete slab and
You guys would remove the slab? I mean, that's part of what you guys do?
Yeah. And the nice thing about being a boutique landscape company is we do the small jobs and we do the big jobs too. So, and it keeps people's overhead costs down because we don't have to pay for insurance for equipment. We just rent it. So if we need a dump truck, we got a dump truck. It's cheaper all the way around.
We were talking a little bit off the air about I brought up Irish Gardens because I didn't know what that was. Is that kind of what you would call what you would do for her?
No, I would call what I would do for her is build her a patio.
Yeah, okay. Out of just a normal builder,
right?
When you say Irish Garden, what would that entail?
Well, to me, an Irish garden's all about the flow of the garden. Building a path with plants right next to it, mixing vegetables with flowers.
But using that cobblestone to kind of get that country.
If that's what somebody wanted, cobblestone, that's what I would use because it looks more like it's from the countryside.
Kevin, do you see why I hired him? I mean, do you understand?
Oh yeah,
the passion that this young guy has at an early age for this.
Well, you can tell
and
that
his mind is thinking all the time about the space and how we can make it better for the people living there. And it didn't take me long to feel that when I had him at my kitchen table.
I know, and that's not my gift. I can do the work, but I can't design it. That's just not my forte. I can copy.
Yeah, you know what? And look, when they said, "Look, we build what we design," that for me was pretty interesting because I look at what they do, and it's funny because I told him this. The guy who's the landscape architect is quite a bit older than Adam is, and they work together really well. And as now an old basketball coach or an ex-basketball coach, when I was younger, I always wanted a more veteran guy, and now I'm that veteran guy. That some younger coaches are saying, "Hey, come sit on the bench with me," to kind of get that. Okay, you've seen a lot of things. Well, that's kind of what their partnership is at this point. Hey, let's get to Brad. He's got a question regarding a patio deck, the cost. Hey, Brad, how you doing today?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's the question you have for Adam?
I have a similar situation where I have an old patio in a house that we recently purchased. It is probably the less expensive variety of patio stone that you could probably buy at your local Home Depot or Menards. So we want that out. It's bordered by a 4x4 treated piece of lumber. And we have about a two-step drop from the house to the backyard, and we are contemplating new patio, whether it be paver patios, stone, or a stamped concrete product, or building out flush with the finished floor and building a deck. So we have a couple different ideas, but we're just looking for maybe a little bit of help as to what your opinions might be as to the best way to go about it.
Well, I like decks. I really do like decks, but it's I'd have to see the property, but it's about what works better. If a patio would work better, that's what I would suggest. And you have those square pavers with the little stones in them?
They are.
Yeah, I would.
I think they're square. Yeah.
I got this really cool Kentucky bluestone that would probably be perfect for that, and I'd get that from the Godfrey place that I was talking about earlier.
Sure.
Is that similar to what we have in our backyard? You know no. What you asked him? You know, the just the square kind of.
Yes. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I love that bluestone. That's gorgeous.
You know
I have that. Yeah, I have that at my house.
Yeah, it's really nice stuff, and it's not that easy to find either.
No.
And they have that down at Godfrey?
Yeah, that's something I like to use a lot.
You know, my wife drives me nuts with that little patio that we have because what she'll do, instead of using Roundup, because we have a dog and she's always worried about the chemicals, she takes the brick out and gets the weeds out and then tries to put it back. And it never, I know, Kevin, right? You're looking at
my
me
eyes are bugging out of my head.
Right. And I say,
like,
would you, because you know what? We have a big power washer, and I'll just take it and utilize it as I'll wash the deck, but also, you know, the patio, and also get the weeds out. I mean, that just tears it right, that power washer. And I'll see her back there, and she'll be taking, you know, something to get the brick out and then get the weeds out, and she never gets them back the way they were.
I think what you need to do is set the bricks right and then go over with a chemical once, keep the dog off it for a while, and use like a chemical like Triox, which will prevent all the weeds from coming back for about a year, 2 years' time.
Triox, it's called?
Yeah.
Can you get that at a Home Depot?
Yeah, you can get it at the Home Depot.
Hey, let's get to one more call before we get to a break. We've got George from Pewaukee. Hey, George, how you doing? You got a question for Adam from Fresh Landscapes?
Yes, I do. Do they install jacuzzis?
We could.
You could do that?
Yeah.
And then you could repair them or keep them up or service them? And
not repairing and keeping them up. We could build you a little spot to put it there and then, you know, put it down. If you need to run electricity, we could do that.
Okay. Kevin, you got people that do that? You know people that...
We could probably... the hot tub pool and spa, you always see them at State Fair. They service hot tubs, and you can buy them there too. They're always running specials out right out State Fair.
That's
I'm not sure Fresh Landscapes. I mean, you could probably figure out a place for them to put it, but to be able to come out and
landscape around it to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
But you don't want to take on the responsibility of making sure it's running and working.
No, I've never done that, and that's not really what I do.
And I've worked at a high-end landscape company. I used to work for David J. Frank, and in fact, I inspected his house for him, and they don't even install hot tubs. I mean, so...
Yeah, that was...
I don't know of any landscape company that installs hot tubs.
Yeah, David J. Frank would not... what we had done at my house would a little too big for what we had going on, I think.
Oh, they'd do it, but then they'd charge a quadruple the amount. And they'd be like, hey, if you're willing to pay for that, well,
now,
sure
that was Kevin Maynard that said that. Kevin, that was not...
Kevinmaynard.
You can call him direct on that one. But I know I did call out there, and they said, hey, you know, we'll come out and look at it, but it wasn't... I don't think I was a top priority at that point.
I send those guys a lot of work, so
they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get to a break. We've got one segment to go. This is the Home Improvement Show on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP.
1 hour before every Brewers game. Don't miss the Z-Barn on Deck show. Live on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Get the latest from the locker room. Hear from manager Ron Renicky and set your lineups. Here on the only station Brewers fans need. Sports Radio 1250 WSSP.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Come on, Grandpa. I'm gonna school you.
I'd hate to miss a moment of playing hoops with my grandson.
I'm on fire.
So I'm using my Medicare preventive benefits from the healthcare law.
Nothing but net.
There are no copays or deductibles for annual wellness visits and some cancer screenings.
2 out of 3, Grandpa.
You are on.
Don't miss a moment. Use your preventive benefits. Learn more at healthcare.gov.
Shaquille O'Neal for Icy Hot.
If you've got pain, you need the patch.
The Icy Hot Patch. Powerful, targeted, fast-acting pain relief that stays put without the mess. Icy to dull the pain, hot to relax it away. In a variety of sizes. From back, shoulders, knees, even arthritis. So you're covered whenever and wherever you're hurt. Stop pain right at the source with Icy Hot Patches.
Pain's no match for the Icy Hot Patch.
For temporary topical pain relief, use only as directed.
Marcus Hotels is proud to bring the thrill of IndyCar racing back to town with Milwaukee Indy Fest, June 14th through the 16th. And to celebrate, Milwaukee Hilton is pushing the throttle wide open with the Milwaukee Indy Fest Street Party, starting